1, 2, 3, 4. Quadruple bottoms are like a unicorn. Okay, folks, let's jump right into it here. So BPT, this is one that we've been trading for some time. I see a pattern and I just want to go through it. So if you're looking at this range right in here, it looks like we're consolidating. We have this nasty red bar down. But if you look a little closer, we keep hitting the same level over and over again, and we're unable to break it. This 12 level, we keep getting down here, 12 to be exact, but we're unable to close it. Now, if this bar was lower, we would have what's called a bullish harami. We don't really have that. So if we drill down into this, it looks like we might be able to see another pattern. And if we go to a 15-minute chart, what we're going to see is this huge wedge line that's developing. We can see how we got there today, and we reject it. So what you are seeing for the first time is a lower high. We really haven't seen that in the past, right? So now we're starting to see that. You kind of had one here, but not really. So what we want to do is focus on this and this wedge line and see where this could take us. Now, maybe this wedge line breaks, maybe it doesn't, but you can see the line right in here. But what we want to focus on is more to the upside. So I want to see how we react to this level. Now, all we're looking for this trade to trigger is we're looking for this to get over, let's call it 1350. So if we can get over 1350, then we would look for this level right here. We would look for the 1363 level, and then we're just going to walk our way up, 1426. Then you're going to walk your way up. And you can see where I'm going with this, 14 3/4. That's where I would focus. Now, in regards to Qualcomm, this was on the list yesterday, the top 5 and 5 list. If you don't subscribe to this channel, I would strongly recommend that you do. What we go over here is extremely timely. Also, click all notifications because I put out private videos in the middle of the day about key levels on indexes. If you use that today, you could see exactly where we broke. But let's talk about what's going on right here. 15591, right? 155.91. Here's our level. This is what you want to see. See how you're rallying up and you have this long-legged doji on both sides? Why is that important? Well, that's important because all you did was short squeeze. And then we know that wicks are price rejections, that we came down. Where do we close? Right where we opened. Nothing's changed here. So there are two ways to play this trade. The very first way is very simple. Use the close from yesterday, which would be that 150 level, and if you break 150, put the short back on. If you want to be super conservative, use 147 3/4. But either way, nothing is resolved here. And one of the things I'd point out is 138.85 is still on the table for this to come in. And the most important thing I would focus on is understand that this whole thing was rejected. Complete and utter rejection today. So, and it's a good time to talk about this for those that don't short, but let's just go over the cues. Now, at the end of the day, all we did was have this enormous range, and that enormous range led to what? You had a 4% range on the day. And at the end of the day, you were basically flat to down about 25 basis points. That tells you everything that you need to know about what's going on out there in the market right now. So based upon that, I don't see any reason to change anything. If you look at the Nasdaq right here, you'll see very clear that you actually made a new low today. So for those that aren't a big fan of shorting, I would focus on something like this, on these cues. And all we would look for is just to get over the close. You can wait to see if you get over this 51, but see how you act tomorrow because you did close at a level that puts you below support. So that means that you do have the potential for this to go higher. So essentially the close on this was 49.70. If you get over that 49 3/4, you can see if you push. With this rejection, that is a clear sign that nobody was selling, right? Because we know wicks are price rejection. So if you flip here, then see how you act at the level right up above it, which is going to be that 51 1/4 level, and then kind of go from there. Now, this one's breaking down, and this move is pretty sad, to say the least. And what you're seeing, these types of moves, when you see them, like, let's just point this out. When you're here and you start to break, you can see how that becomes resistance, right? Support becomes resistance. Up here, when you took out that low of the IPO, you can see that level, how that becomes resistance. What we're seeing is going to see something very similar happen right here. When we tried to rally, we've been failing. Tried to rally, failed. Came down, closed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quadruple bottoms are like a unicorn. They just don't exist. So all we're looking for is a lower low here. You're looking for 156.50. If that breaks 156.50, this is in a lot of trouble. There is literally zero support in this name. Now, we'll recognize Melly in there from yesterday and look at the level that we're at. You can see this upper wedge line. and this is really pertinent, you closed right under this upper wedge line. And it's important to note that. It's also important to note that the high of the day was the 50-day moving average, and then we rejected. So we made a lower low close, and we closed below the upper wedge line, which tells us when you break these upper wedge lines, that gives you your target. So your target on this now is $75. Now that you've broken this level, and that's very possible. So again, make sure you comment on these videos and also share them. But with the comments, it lets me know that you want to know where target prices are. I got that from the comments, and it's very helpful to me. But you're looking at $75. So for me, you can look for the 107 to break and go from there. I will be using today's close, which was 111.90. When it breaks there, I will add to the short position. I'm currently shorted, and we'll look at adding to the short tomorrow. As I say all the time, patterns repeat themselves. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we've had is we've had this get to the 50-day 4 times and reject ever since it broke it up here. This is pretty nasty what happened today. Now what I like about this, you had this long, nasty red bar down. Then all day you could not rally. Even when we had those swings in the market today, we could not rally. That's exactly what you want to see if you're looking for a short. So for me, seeing this, very clean trade. If you get below 914 tomorrow, this looks like just an outright short. Now, where could you get to? Very easily, you can get to this level, but you could go much, much lower. So if you go to this line, you're really looking at 740 as a possibility. Now, it might take some time to get there, or it could happen fast. When you start breaking down like this, you're going to start see people running for the exits. And as we've seen with Shop, and Shop's been on the list a couple times, as we've seen with Shop, you can see very, very clean. We broke again today, and now we're at 515, right? We talked about this, how we're looking at going into the 4s. I see no reason to change that, and I think Melly's next up to bat to break down big time here.